Hello everyone. Today we're going to be learning about the SeeSaw class configuration and we're going to focus on students features. So SeeSaw offers a lot of very interesting features for students, and it's very important that you configure these settings before you get started with your class to make sure you have a successful SeeSaw implementation program. So the first thing we're going to look at is go to your main menu, which is located at the top left hand corner of your screen, and you're going to go to Manage Class towards the bottom. Then you're going to see there's three sections here. So you're going to focus, today we're focusing on the student section, so just in the middle of the screen. And we're going to first start with the student sign-in mode. Depending on how your class is set up, if you have a one-to-one device classroom, then you're going to choose one-to-one devices. If each student has a device, then make sure you check this off. But if your students are sharing devices, then you're going to make sure you have to choose shared devices, the shared devices option. Next, you're going to manage your students. So here is where you actually add or remove students from your list. It's very simple. You just type the name of the student and add student, and it will be added to your roster. If for any reason your student left your class or withdrew from the class, then you're going to remove that student, and you're going to click on Edit, and then just on you see the red circle right here in the corner, you're going to click it, and then you're going to remove student. That's how it is. It's very easy. Next, we're going to look at the student likes and comments options. And this is a very important part of your SeeSaw account. You want to make sure you give your students access, but you also want to make sure you set your expectations since the beginning of the class. You want to make sure your students know how to be respectful or how to comment on each other's work. So those are things you want to talk to your students about before you get started. Here, if the button is green, it means it is enabled. So you would just press it again and click it again, and it's going to show it gray, so which means it's disabled. If you want to enable students to like each other's work, then you're going to make sure it's green. Another thing that you're going to, you have the option of doing is enabling your students' comments. If you don't want to enable your students to comment on each other's work, you can make sure you disable that option first, and maybe with time you can start giving them more freedom, and you can start enabling their comments. But you also, if you are in the beginning stage of letting your students comment on each other's work, and you want to make sure they're doing it adequately, then you can also choose to require approval for any new comments, which is going to be a little time consuming for you because you're going to be having to read each one. You're going to be getting notifications, and you're going to have to be approving all of these different comments coming in. And if you have a lot of classes, if you have a lot of students, then it's going to get very hectic and busy for you to be having to do this all the time. But if it's something you just want to do at the beginning, then it's something I really recommend for you to do. Since my students are already, they already know the expectations in my class, they have the freedom to leave comments, and I just don't have to approve them now. So the next part of your students' class settings is if you want to let your students to see each other's work. Well, this is something if you want your students to interact and to be able to see each other's work, well, then it's something you want to make sure you enable. Make sure you know that if you already enabled it, and if you want to disable it, if you want them to just view their own work, make sure that your students sign out and then sign back in so they don't lose their work, okay, before you confirm that change. But as far as this option, I really don't recommend that you disable it, because it's very important for them to interact or collaborate with each other and be able to see what each other are, what they're all doing. So I don't recommend for you to choose that option, to disable, I'm sorry, that option. Another thing is to require new items, to require approval for new items. So here, if you want them to, if they're sharing something with your class and you don't want it to be posted until you approve it, then you make sure you enable it. I have this enabled because sometimes my students turn in something and there's maybe they didn't follow the specific steps, or they were giving wrong information. Then I talk to them before they are able to show it to everybody else. But it's something that it's your choice. Then you have the enable item editing. I like this one because once their work has been approved, or once their work has been posted, they have the ability to edit their work, and they can go back and they can make different changes. So the only, for example, when I was talking to you about the new items require approval option, I'm just referring to inappropriate maybe type of items, and I just want to make sure that they're all appropriate to the assignments. But here is where I like for them to edit the work. If their work is not perfect, it's okay. They always have the ability to go back and edit what they did. So that's about it. These are all the options that SeeSaw offers for managing your class, and specifically for students. And I hope you learned something today, and I hope you enjoy using SeeSaw. It's an amazing tool for teachers. So I'll see you next time on my next video on how to manage your parents' accounts. Thank you, and see you later.